What's going on, everybody? This is George Cruz, former personal trainer turned CDL holder, getting back in shape after some years and taking you guys along for the ride. Got a clip here of my daughter recording me as I was doing some lightweight warm-ups. It had been quite some time, and I had gotten used to working a physically laborious job. Because when I say CDL holder, I mean local multi-stop CDL holder. I'm moving anywhere from 300 to 500 pounds down ramps to multiple customer locations. So by no means am I just bumping docks and gaining weight from the seat of the cushion of the semi truck. Now, reason for making this video was because a common question that comes up is like, hey, you know what? You work a physical job, like why hit the gym? And I've had some coworkers tell me that they get confused when they find out that other coworkers are hitting the gym when they work a job like the one I do. Well, the main reason is because when you work a physically laborious job, there's a couple things most people don't take into account. And one of them is the fact that you can actually suffer from repetitive overuse injuries. This is why people working in offices happen to have things like carpal tunnel. They'll start to develop back problems because there's a lot of the same thing. It's not just bad posture, it's overuse of the same joints. Another thing is that when you are performing a physical job, you're not only performing a lot of the same movements, a lot of these are resulting in muscular imbalances. For example, I'm dollying anywhere from 300 to 500 pounds going down a ramp, and to get it into position and to hold it to go down a ramp and ultimately up into a customer's location, that itself is going to result in muscular imbalances. Like, for example, the front of my shoulders are pretty damn strong. My pressing is pretty damn strong. So I have to focus on keeping my back as strong as humanly possible. So as you can see here, like my medial delts and my rear delts are starting to pop out from this warm-up. That is starting to burn. Then I go into face pull to keep warming up. But I'm doing this to protect myself from the repetitive motion of my job. So when someone says, why do you go to the gym when your job is so physical? Well, what I explained is why. So this is how I started the day out. I had a bowl of some leftover fried rice that I added some greens to, a cup of coffee. There's 2 eggs and 4 ounces of ground beef under there. That whole thing was about 30 grams of protein. Just cut to some footage of me go to the mall with my family. Since it was a semi-treat day, I had already been down about 10 pounds consistently, weighing with averages, which is how it's supposed to be. Stopped and I did splurge a little bit. These are things that I do strategically. Do not do it just, as the old heads say, willy-nilly. Multivitamin, multi-mineral, fish oil, the Biomega, all by USANA, link in the bio. These are the only ones I take. Only brand that I trust, actually. Then it comes back to the actual footage that I recorded later on in the evening. Now here, the first footage you saw in the beginning was just a shoulder warm-up. I was doing some rear delt flies and then some face pulls. Now I'm going into some more heavier working sets. For example, lat pull downs with a wide grip. I was doing some lightweight high rep sets just to continue warming up. I think it's really important that you focus. One, I'm going to beat a dead horse with this. Keep your back really strong, especially if you work a physical job. Okay? Why do you work this job? Do not give your spinal health and the health of your joints to your employer. Maintain them for yourself because you do this for yourself and your families, which is why I do it. So as you can see here, I was pulling, started to get a little hot. So now I'm going into my working set. As you can see, the movement's a little bit slower. It's still smooth, but slower. And I focus on controlled reps. You can see the shoulders. You can see the bicep definition. You can see the muscles that are supposed to be working. Now, a big mistake I made in the past was not taking enough progress photos. So I'm going to be updating you guys. As you can see, I'm starting to struggle, can't move. Leave a couple reps in reserve. And then we move on to the next one. As you can see here, I'm not doing any fancy editing. I'm just trying to get straight to the point with you guys. I'm doing one horizontal right after I do one vertical. It doesn't matter which order you do it in. Of course, to get into position, you want to make sure you retract your scapula, like right there. Now pull back and forth, go as far as you can without compromising your form. And you want to make sure you keep a tight squeeze and pull as if you're trying to pull the machine through you. That's actually really important for contracting as hard as you can at the end. You want to make sure the weight's heavy enough that it's really testing you for maximum muscle fiber recruitment, but not so heavy that you have to throw your body around just to get it to move. That's a big mistake a lot of people make, is thinking that they have to lift as much as humanly possible. You want to be testing yourself, but you need to make sure that you're not ego lifting in the gym. That's going to bite you in the ass. I don't know any ego lifters that don't have some sort of injury that's a result of them just being completely stupid. Of course, I'm just going to go into a couple more sets. I only do right now 3 sets at a time until I go up in weight, and then after a few months I'm going to bump it up to 4. Next workout will be the chicken leg workout. I'm going to finish banging out these sets, and then we're going to cut off to the next scene. See, super bright lighting. Then when I go back and zoom in, better lighting, dramatic difference. Don't let the influencers fool you. I wanted to quickly address this whole concept of, why do you hit the gym? I know I touched on it in the beginning of the video, but my main reason for making this was not only to chronicle my transformation and, of course, put up some content, because I have other goals with this channel and my website, link below as well as in the first comment, is mainly because I wanted to attack the notion of, the question that I get asked earlier is, you already work a physical job, why do you hit the gym? I've already touched on, the major importance of that, why chronicle my transformation. It's just, I was in the fitness industry in the early 2010s, and I helped a lot of people in person. I wasn't just some idiot who put fit at the end of his Instagram handle with some gifted genetics. As you can tell, I'm not gifted in the genetics department. In fact, I got the short end of the stick. My father was an endomorph who was very short and stocky, and on my mother's side, they were all skinny ectomorphs. So I build muscle like my mom's side, but I get fat like my father's side. So, for the muscles that I have right here, I don't think I'm very defined, but you can see the muscle that I do have. That's actually over a period of 10 years. I do say 7 years in the beginning, but it's actually 10 years total. So for someone who has better genetics than I do, they could be a lot bigger. But I think it's really important that we stop to take into account that exercise is something somebody should just do in general. It's not an extracurricular activity. There really is no real reason to avoid it if it's just because you don't want to. Like, there's so many reasons that, I'm not into fitness, it's not my thing. Or the worst one is it's not worth it because you're going to get old and die anyway. Or, I want to die happy eating what I want. I don't want to die sore. Something Gabriel Iglesias said, the comedian. But at the end of the day, when you see the benefits that healthy eating and exercise gives you, there's no real valid reason for avoiding it. You just don't want to do it. Now, at the end of the day, I don't really care. Like, people like me don't care. So you wonder, why even bother addressing it? It's not so much that, like, why bother addressing it? The real thing is that if you're not going to do it, don't be full of shit about it. Don't give yourself all kinds of, like, reasons to justify not doing it. At the end of the day, you really just don't want to. And you would respect yourself more if you just admitted to yourself that you don't want to do it, if that really is the case. And it goes back to the whole, like, it does conflict with, why do you hit the gym when you work a physical job? Because those people think that this form of exercise is enough. They don't really know. But there are many people just actively avoiding it. And I wanted to touch on that because that's actually a very important reason that people should exercise. You're doing this to take care of yourself. Just like I said earlier, I don't want to get old and not have my mobility because I gave my shoulders, my knees, my spine to my employer. And there are many people who did so, and they're very proud of themselves and they don't regret it at all. For those people, this content isn't for you, just in case you happen to be here for some reason. But diet and exercise, regardless of your physical activity at work, is something that should just be done. It should be as normal as brushing your teeth and showering. And if you choose not to, then just admit to yourself that you just don't want to do it. Don't jump through these hoops and perform all kinds of mental gymnastics to justify it, because at the end of the day, you're really only justifying it to yourself. Do it for you or don't do it for you. That's really what it boils down to. But other than that, that's how I want to finish off this video. Don't forget to check out my website, jcruzfitness.com. It's going to be linked at the bottom in the description box. I also post these videos on my website, so if you happen to be viewing it there, all the helpful links that I mentioned are going to be in the article below this video. Also going to be starting my podcast back up, and I'm going to be chronicling my transformation on my website. Links to my social media accounts can be found below. And don't forget to like, share, and especially subscribe and turn on the notification bell. That's it for today. You guys take care.